are now entering the Bad Christian Podcast.
All right, Chad.
Here we are.
Welcome to your show. This is what we're trying to do right now. I think the thing is really interesting is to do stuff live and do it on Facebook and do it, in higher quality. The thing that bugs me a lot is the way people treat live video not seriously, and they just do webcam stuff, and then all they do is scroll through and read comments and pay attention to their own phone with them in bad quality. So what I was hoping you and I could do tonight is I was hoping you would play a song for us. Will you do that?
I will.
Okay. So I want you to play a song for us, and then I just want to talk a little bit about your band and explore it. You and I have known each other for how long? Several years now.
At least 4 years,
and
probably.
I just have no thought. I had nothing in my brain that would have ever predicted that we'd be here now. Like it's just the craziest stuff of life from where you were and who you were when I met you and what I was doing and what I'm doing now and what you're doing now. And then we're both here in your basement. Totally incredible. So if you're just joining us, we're doing this live on Facebook, and this also is going to be episode of Bad Christian Podcast next week. So podcasters, welcome as well. But we're down here in Chad's basement right now, which is amazing. So this is the place, this is the site where you made your whole new album, just down here in this basement, right?
It's just a simple basement, but I don't know, you can do almost anything anywhere nowadays, except for drums. Sometimes you need a studio, but we just, we did the whole thing down here.
You did your drums here or no?
We did the drums right here.
Yeah, so you don't have to go to
I guess you don't. I mean, you put tons of sound paneling up, you make them sound really dead, and you can add reverb later. And so,
do you think that's better? I mean, you like better doing it at home? Like, what caused you to want to do this at home versus go do it in a big studio? Like, what's the thought process for you?
I mean, a big part of it is budget. We're not a huge band or anything, but another thing is just flexibility. Like, we started renting this house a year ago, and there's this, 600 square feet down here that's just empty. It's sunk into the side of a hill, so we can be as loud as we want. Neighbors never ever give us trouble.
But it's not a sound quality thing in a sense. But are you comfortable doing, like, did you want the freedom and the ability to sit here and tweak and work on it forever? I think a lot of times that's what producers like that. Like, I'm willing to trade, for instance, a big vaulted drum room for the fact that I can spend all the hours I want to get my shit right.
I mean, the way that, I've talked about this before in other interviews, but the way that Kings works is it's like, it's Chad and friends, and I just bring people down here, sometimes at a couple people at a time, or on this record also sometimes like one person at a time. Yeah. And we just sit here or over there, the drums or wherever, and we just work on parts, and then I go nuts kind of arranging and chopping stuff up.
Tell me more about that Chad and friends. What does that mean?
I just mean that, like, because there's usually so much going on, and there's a lot of intricacies and different things in our music. It's hard to write, with let's get string players in the same room as a rhythm section and come up with something together. Sometimes that's happened, but not as much. So when I say Chad and friends, it's the whole, like, I grew up as a DJ, and making beats is how I learned how to make music, by sampling. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm getting, all my best friends that are just incredible musicians.
You think of your other musicians as samples?
Not in a bad way. I trust that they are going to create stuff that really gets me excited. Right. So, like, for instance, the drummer Andrew and I are really close buddies, and we've been playing music together, for a while now. I knew him in high school, and he would come over, on afternoons, and we would, he would just sit down here. I would play guitar, and we would just jam on different ideas.
He's your drum machine.
He's okay, but not really, because he's a freaking I call him a beast, not a machine. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then same with keys. Like, there's a lot of creative people within this band that are able to generate really incredible, like, almost feels like custom ideas to songs that I'm starting to get ideas for and work on it.
So are you you're the only person in the band that is full time, as in a career musician? That's an interesting thing, right? Is that the case?
Yep. So basically, I was working for Marsville Church, obviously, and I had been in the position of, like, being a worship director for like 7 years. That's what I've done as an adult until 2 years ago, when my family left that, and then we did becoming who we are, and that was the first thing that was like, or just big experiment. Whole thing flush out the system. Every song that we've had, pent up and not been able to release, is just flush it out, get it all out there. And kind of as a big experiment, and the last 2 years, I've been able to just kind of keep doing that. Just doing music.
You're totally right. It's an experiment. The way I recall it is when you left Mars Hill, and the thing typically is for when people leave a church job as a worship leader, it's like, well, what are they going to do next? Just, I guess, find another church job, hopefully one with good benefits or something. What are you going to do? And it's like, I've been saying this lately, that I think churches are kind of like the minor leagues for real musicians, except like in some way there's some amazing people at churches, but it's like a breeding ground, a training ground for people. That's one of the only other places where people get to develop musically and do stuff and have some freedom. And then, but the notion that you could leave the church world as a worship band doing congregational stuff and then actually make a career out of it the way you have, it's been a really amazing. And especially because you don't lean into the congregational style of music. In fact, you've gone what seems to me to be the totally opposite way. It seems to me like you are making music that I dare a congregation to try.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that makes me think of. I mean, one is like, it's been a very natural progression for us as a band to what we go to different churches now since Mars Hill, exploded. And it's not a natural rhythm for us to like get together and, we don't have like, a huge multi-generational congregation in my basement when we come to practice and write songs. So I'm not thinking about writing songs for that. I'm just thinking about writing personal songs and about my emotions and stories and things that I'm like, the ideas really. And I would actually say that in another way, like you were saying, moving away from church music, there's like it's all semantics, but yeah, like I'm not doing a Sunday morning kind of thing anymore. But at the same time, I feel like in a way this record, Beyond Control, actually feels like, it almost feels like LP number 1. Like Becoming Who We Are almost feels like we flushed out the system.
Just got everything out.
Got everything out
that was in there.
And we love it all. Like it really, it means a lot to us. We had the songs for forever. But this record feels like
interesting.
This record feels like, okay, blank slate.
Yeah.
What's stuff you've been thinking about for the last 2 years, Chad? What have you been going through? How can you relate the things that you've been carrying emotionally and experiencing to the gospel, which is what I still think Kings does. I think there's something about Kings, and it's not intentional. It just happens that allows people to really grapple with what they're feeling and experiencing in life and how the gospel, hits up to that. And I think in that sense, it still is like, in a way, it's still for the church, but in a large context, like not in a bigger way, but just like not for Sunday mornings necessarily, Yeah.
So, but here's another interesting thing about transitioning as you have is you come out of a system where the lyrics are old hymns and traditional songs and songs made to just say the simplest thing that everybody can do on a Sunday morning. How's it been for you to have to, there's the huge leap of having to go into being a lyricist, is what I'm saying. Like when you were at Mars Hill and you were a worship leader, you were not a lyricist, and now you are. And
actually, like I vocally hated writing lyrics.
Yeah, you told me 5 years ago I can't lyrics, write songs. I don't want to.
I literally told you I'm never going to be a songwriter.
I'm just going to do "Come Thou Fount," but real in a cool way.
Cool,
and so now you're a real lyricist.
Remix everything, and I think that is. It's because in a one way, like I never actually had. It sounds really weird, but everything that I was supposed to say was handed to me to say.
Well, that's a metaphor now, isn't it?
Yeah, I never actually had to express myself. And I did on Becoming Who We Are.
Yeah.
I say that lightly, and there's a whole batch of those songs, Defender and Secret Kingdom, which were pivoting to start expressing. Chad wants to say something, and I co-wrote a bunch of those songs. But even on this record, Zach Boland from Citizens and Saints co-wrote a lot of the lyrics with me, but I still had a way, way, way heavier hand in it than I've ever had before. And so, yeah, in that way, it almost feels like, it feels like, okay, now we get to make a record that's completely ours,
Mm-hmm.
and let's just make a whole bunch more.
But you have the
know?
confidence now as a lyricist. You don't feel ashamed of it. Like you're looking like, and here's what I love to think about is, man, because I always feel like life is long. People say life's short, but it's kind of long. Like you're doing this music stuff, and you're going to be doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So I like to sit back and think about what is Chad going to be doing in 10 years.
Right,
I mean, it's so exciting to me to think that way. And I think when people, especially later in life, overcome hurdles and decide, you know what, I am going to learn to sing. I am going to write my own lyrics.
Yeah.
That's hero status for me, because fear and people not thinking they can do stuff that's like almost everybody.
Well, okay, two things. One, I mean, for the reason I'm able to do this is because it feels, I mean, I'm just like, blows me away is that people actually like resonate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like, yeah, thank you for buying our music. I'm saying like, how cool is it that I can tell stories and it emotionally connects to other people in a way that they're like, I'm going to support it. So
is that more satisfying even than musically connecting to lyrically connect?
It doesn't make a difference. I like both because for me, I connect. I mean, at times in my life, I've connected more to just music than lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
But it means to me, it just means it's amazing that people like connect with the music and that they support it, even like, you know, all the way down to financially, but even more so like, I feel like they're on our team now. I feel like they get it. I feel like we can travel places and I don't know. I didn't think a lot of people would understand King's Kaleidoscope outside of a few hymns. Like, oh, that's cool.
I mean, you're right. It was an experiment. We didn't know that this would work. And I promise you, even in my mind, and I like to take credit as being a big champion for King's Kaleidoscope.
You are the biggest champion.
I really do take a lot of credit. Want to take a lot of credit for that. But even to me, I didn't anticipate the development and success and response of the general public to what's going on. Like it's more like your career is the most exciting one to me. I think I had, like I said, no credit really necessary here, but I was there for it and had a hand in thinking about how can somebody create a custom designed career tailored to exactly what they want to do and who they are. I mean, in your situation, so much different. You came out of this world. You have these musicians. You've now made it a full-time living for your family. That is just too exciting for me. That's what I feel like I'm trying to do every day is get people like Toby and Devin and you to, man, you guys are real. You guys are unbelievable. You impress me. You can do this. You've got to do it. Can I please help you? And so to see you get to where you're at and not only hear the music that I've always been impressed with, but to see this reaction that's happening for people is just so. It has very little to do with me, but I feel great about it.
Do you remember? Okay, so you were, remember you were a band leader at the church, and you remember when I told you I was leaving? Do you remember what you said?
I mean, I remember when you told me.
We were in the green room, and you were like, "Well, you know what that means?" I was like, "What?" And you were like, "That means that." I've got to put out your first record.
Yeah. Well, but that was interesting because that was the time when we had just started BadChristian.
You were like, you had like just got a website going, and we did live in color.
Yeah, well, that was our idea together to do live in color. We said, let's make something. Let's just do it. If we get this and do it, let's give it away. I said you guys are a great live band because I've been seeing you live. I said live is the key for you guys. Like you're not. I mean, yeah, you do this in studio. You can use samples and keys and sequences, but you guys can do stuff live that nobody else can do. Like it happens live on stage. It's
that's
unreal.
The chemistry of it not just being me as a DJ, just pulling samples. That's the chemistry of. Every one of those pieces is like a person that's an incredible musician that when we get live, it's always different. And that makes it really exciting for me. And I
it speaks a lot to your leadership and the quality of the music that you're able to manage and retain and lead. First of all, a group of 10 people is hard for anything just to get along.
Definitely hurting cats
and to keep,
some of the time.
Yeah, and to keep them in the way that they do to where you get to do this as a career and they don't, and it still works and you can still travel and play, but you tour. I mean, in any case, you're a flagship case for you can invent your own rules.
We've had to be really inventive.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like I said, I'm the only one that's kind of just doing this full time, and I do other projects to, try to like stay afloat and stuff. Yeah. But everybody else has jobs like from all the gamut, like teachers,
you've got engineers and accountants,
to accountants to like. I mean, it's like so they've all got other careers, and we play as many shows as we can within those constraints. And my hope is just that I can keep making music with this group of people, and it's gonna look like we're putting out records.
Yeah.
Like I said, this one feels like the first one where, and the other thing is I like the spirit, like personally for me, I just really enjoy the spirit of like not having, Tooth and Nail has been really awesome, and they just give us complete freedom, and Bad Christian's awesome, and that I'd feel more uncomfortable if a big label was like, okay, we're gonna give you thousands and thousands of dollars to just sit in a studio while you come up with stuff and just like blow the cash. I like the fact that both the last records are just made on my MacBook,
right?
Like running around doing whatever and scrapping by. I mean, it gives the music an energy that is really there's like an excitement and a honesty about it that I really love, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to see my career go to this thing where all of a sudden like it's changed, beyond like what some of the magic we have is.
That's interesting. So let's do some other stuff. But I mean, really, the reason that I came over here tonight and wanted to capture this and do this is because we've put on sale the vinyl, the special edition vinyl and the regular vinyl which was a runaway success for your last album. We did the vinyl. We knew you were a big vinyl band. We knew people loved the art that you create, because you really do have a really good grip on aesthetics and presentation outside of your music too, by the way. And I know you know that, but it's worth repeating and stating. And so we thought vinyl would be good on this too, but it's been, and Reva can tell you, and the Bad Christian team can tell you, I know you know it, it's been insane what the pre-orders for this vinyl
We had
is.
to double the order.
Yeah, we had to increase it right away. So part of doing this tonight is the thing I just wanted to say. I wanted to make sure we took the time to thank the people that pre-ordered, because it's a big deal. Like, they really are making you a full-time career musician that gets to express himself outside the bounds and ties of a church system or even a big label business system. You get to create for real.
It's not it's not about like a church or anything. It's just about like, I mean, seriously, like, I'm so thankful that we just get to do it.
You get
every
to
day.
do
I'm
what
really
you want to
humbled,
do because people like what you do. And they love it. And you know what I'm saying? You get to do exactly what you want to do, and people love it enough to where the demand is higher than we even anticipated. It's amazing.
Somebody in an interview yesterday asked me, why do you do what you do? It's like the big question,
Yeah.
And it was like, there's definitely like a huge part of me that actually doesn't know.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really weird,
No,
but
I get
especially on the last record, it was like, what is your vision and your mission for this? And it was like, I don't know. I feel like God hasn't told me that yet. I'm just doing it.
Yep.
And then after the interview, the person who, like, he likes our music a lot. He said, dude, it's so funny that you said that, because you're doing this for me. Like, I feel like you're doing it for me.
But you don't have to go any farther.
But I don't even have to, like, I don't even really think about that sometimes. I really feel like I'm just expressing myself and, trying to like be honest and tell my story, and ultimately, like, seriously, how it relates to the gospel. Like, that's a huge thing in my life, and that's kind of what we do.
Well, so this whole thing, again, is like kind of a thank you for the support, which is something that is, it's just astonishing. So thank you, seriously, looking at the camera, to everybody that has bought this,
very much.
who has already pre-ordered the album. What do we want to do for them? We want to play them a song, or you want to show them a song that people haven't heard yet? What can we do?
We can do both.
Okay.
We can do both. I think we should probably... Yeah, let's play this first.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So we'll play a song right out of your Pro Tools session here. What is this?
Yeah, so this is...
You can talk over it a little bit if you want to, or we can just let it roll.
This is a song on the record called In This Ocean. It's actually 2 parts, so we're going to play both of them. And it's basically a song about being afraid to set out on an adventure, but choosing to do it anyways, and realizing that you've got a group of people surrounding, like a community. And the beginning here is pretty sweet, because like a year and a half ago when we started jamming on this, the beginning of this song comes from just my iPhone like voice memo.
Oh, really?
Of us, like,
that's
in a
called
basement
demoitis. By the way, when you
no,
you do something, just a crappy little demo, and then you get addicted to it, and you can't ever let it
yeah,
go.
yeah.
So
it's
that's
just the
demo.
count off, though. It's just the count off. It's not the actual song. So yeah, this is In This Ocean, parts 1 and part 2. Here we go. Ready?
That's great.
That's it.
Okay, so again, thank you, people, and I hope you enjoy
Yes,
that premiere.
thank
So, before you did this record, I remember you called me one day, and we're trying to wrestle through what you should do different on this album than the last one, because your sense was you didn't want to do the same thing again.
No.
And you said, I need a challenge. You said, I need to do something different.
Did I really say that?
You called me and said, I need some constraints or a challenge or something that people wouldn't expect that we'd be able to pull off or do.
Yeah.
I don't want to just do the same epic type, mega epic hymn, whatever thing.
Yeah.
And so we
builds.
discussed a couple of things
Mhm.
on that call. And I think what I came up with right away is that you should do more live and more acoustic and less production. And then we kept on discussing a little bit. And you were on this train where you were saying you wanted to make the stuff a little more funky, groovy, and try to have very little or no like builds or these big giant kind of section stuff. What did you ultimately decide when you were going through this album that you wanted your constraints to be?
Well, so musically, everything ultimately kind of like ended up serving the theme of the record, which we can talk about in a little bit. But the things that stuck around from our conversation were, there's always been a lot of like intricacy in the way that we arrange and write stuff, like intricate parts and lots of melodies going on and stuff. But we wanted to make those quieter. As when I remember you'd be like, well, what if you did intricate and quiet?
Instead of mega, because there's some amount of played outness to just making everything epic.
Really
like
loud.
It's even played out and through all of culture, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
I
that
agree.
post was epic. That rant was epic.
Yeah.
Like everything
Totally.
is epic. I mean,
it's funny because we just played like maybe the most, maybe not, but yeah. I mean, it feels kind of epic at points in the ending, but you can even tell in this song there's much more like full band groove and vibe. Just like consistently throughout a tune, but we did get the sort of like quiet and intricate thing on a few different tunes, which I'm really stoked about. We definitely got it on a song called Lost, which I'm gonna play I think in a little bit. I want to at least, and then but it's only me though. It won't be very intricate. And
see, but that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I think you do that you haven't done yet, and I'm going to try to convince you and encourage you in the coming years to release more stuff that is even smaller and smaller, because I've heard you do it in a bunch of different ways. So I think you could do that and still even incorporate 8-10 people and do stuff really tiny. I think that will be a lights out. Like I think you will really have done something. And I think I've heard you do it already.
Well,
so
and
I think that's what I would love to hear from you.
We started taking steps to try to do some of that on this record for sure. My favorite track is the last one called Trackless C, and it's like musically a little bit complex. There's some really weird chord changes and some very interesting like mellotron textures, really weird piano. It's intricate in that way, but the whole thing's quiet. And then you get to the bridge where you feel like the whole thing's going to explode. And then instead it's just a huge string swell, but then it just stays. And it doesn't explode. Yeah. And the cool thing about that is it actually, for me at least, it brings about like a greater emotional response than if we had just like blasted everything. It gives a feeling of like longing.
Right.
It's so much.
It's a different thing.
Heavier.
Right.
Than just like, oh.
Yeah, that's my theory, is that with technology, with practice, performance, click tracks, everything we've done in music, we've gotten to where we're past optimizing the loudest, heaviest, orchestrated thing. We're kind of past that in a way. And I noticed it when we would do living room shows. There was some parts in some songs where it got really quiet when Toby and I made our Matt and Toby record. And I was like, okay, a quiet part in the song. And then when we did that in the living room and it took the people in and it drew them in and it got quieter and quieter, I was like, this intent. I would feel this intensity when I would drop out and Toby would take it all the way to quiet.
Way more
mind blowing.
Way more intense.
Especially with people in the room. And it felt to me like the first time we did a giant breakdown in 2001. I was like, yes, this is everybody has to pay attention now, because that's what that feeling is in music when you like, it's undeniable that everybody's locked into what you're doing. And I don't think a breakdown or a giant build really accomplishes that anymore, because we've optimized it. So if you can take people and bring them to the quietest place, it's undeniable.
I know I love doing things that grab people's attention, but I think for the most part it's really simple. Like the music that gets put on the record is a music that honestly I really love, and that I get excited about. Like there's never anything on. I've never been, had been pressured or had to do anything where it goes, well, this is good enough and this is what people are gonna like. It's like every song on this record and every song on the last record has big things about it that I just like really, really love, and that's why it's there. You know?
All right. Well, I want to do another song, but let's talk about one more thing
Yeah.
before that. And I'm curious. I haven't talked to you much about it since the stuff's been out there, but there is a clean and explicit version of this. So the song is called Prayer. And we're not going to do that song, so that's not the point. You'll have to buy the album to hear to hear that one. But there's a song that you have an explicit language in, and also decided to do a clean version. And I'm curious, how's that unfolded now that that's out there? Like, and see if I got this right. The vinyl is the explicit version.
Yeah, the vinyl is just the kind of the original, as straight from me as is. They're both from me, but untouched. And then
the CD's clean.
CDs we made clean just because we sort of guessed that most people that are gonna purchase CDs are gonna probably be like families and different things like that, and majority of them are gonna want that. And then digital is both.
Both will be on Spotify. Both will be on Apple.
Yeah, you can get
and iTunes if you want to buy it. You can get, so anybody can get whatever they want. Okay, but what is it? I mean, why'd you choose to do that, and what did you say? What's the context here?
So, I mean, yeah, basically, this is a song. You've heard the song, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing the part.
I know
the song.
I'm just making sure. I'm making sure. Yeah. So basically, a prayer is a song that there's a whole lot of different angles to approach the story of this song, but the core of it is basically really a completely vulnerable prayer that I have as a song. Is something that deals with something I've wrestled with my whole life, which is, if you followed the story of Kings, I've had pretty severe anxiety disorder my whole life, on and off. And a root thing that I continually have felt in those moments of panic attacks or terror is the feeling and just like overwhelming sense that one, I will somehow run away from God and end up in hell, or that two, he will turn his back on me, and that same thing, I'll be apart from him forever in hell.
So you would tie all of your personal daily anxiety to you. It actually kind of does tie into an ultimate thing, and hell and insecure. Salvation.
Yeah, I wouldn't I don't know if I would say that. I think in general, the thing that I look for the most in life is to feel safe. And that is the ultimate thing you cannot control, because death is real.
Yeah.
And my salvation is from God's grace alone. Right. So anyways, there's backstory to this is a wrestle that I've had my whole life of dealing with anxiety. And this is something that, really can haunt me at times. And then there's years of prayers to God about that, that I have in journals and everything. And then, during the making of this record, there's a major sense that I have that this song really isn't even I know I'm responsible for it, but there's a sense that I honestly have no idea. I do have an idea of how it came together. I just literally feel like it was kind of given to me, and I was inspired not by something that I really worked hard at, because basically in the middle of making this record, I had, we were on a tight schedule. I was grinding it out and completely kind of ignoring, just my relationship with God. I wasn't spending time just in prayer, or I just feel like I was running hard to keep myself busy, keep myself preoccupied, and use all of my nervous energy to kind of run from that. And I'm getting to the point, which is just that, I finally at one evening was able to be praying to God and be like, okay, this is actually how I'm feeling. And I basically was writing these lyrics, which is, I dropped the F-bomb twice, basically is what it is. And that's what it was. It's just I'm this scared. That was the language that I had. I came downstairs, sat at the piano, and all of the backstory of the weightiness of this fear that I have on and off, and the present fear of wow, this is actually where I'm at right now, all kind of collided. And it was boom, 2 verses.
Yeah.
Right there. And I had to just I think I recorded them the next day, and then I literally had to just sit took me like 2 days to even touch the song again because I couldn't. It was so heavy, like from the pit of my gut. Of this is sometimes how this is the lowest that I can feel,
and also vulnerable in the sense that you made a song and now you have the obligation to either show it to other people or decide not to, which I think is a crazy thing. When you have an original thought or create something or feel something that you know is original, there's something to that where a lot of times people squash that and they don't ever share it with other people.
Yeah,
and that's
so I'm being a little bit long-winded and I apologize, but here's the thing is like the song is me. The song is my heart, it's my gut, and it's my honest, like pouring my guts out to God prayer. That is the truth of who I am. And the song is then met ultimately with God's true response to me as the true me of where I actually am at. And so that sort of got out of the way. I ended up recording the second part, and it came about in the same way where I just felt like how in the world am I going to respond to myself in this?
Right.
What in the world is God going to say? Like I had no idea how I could ever accomplish it. And I spent days racking my brain. I'd come down here and I'd be like, I'm just blocked, like creatively completely blocked. And then I prayed and prayed and prayed about it. And I'm not meaning to sound hyper spiritual or anything, but literally one day it was just like, same thing. It just fell in front of me as I was typing out lyrics on this little app I have on my phone where it was just like, oh my gosh, that's God's response. And as I was typing, I started bawling my eyes out because it was so true to the deepest part of me that I'd expressed. And it was so real. I literally couldn't read the lyrics for another day without bawling my eyes out. And then the next day I had to come down here. It was like, I really need to record this. Like the record's due in like a couple weeks. Like I need this song to make enough songs to be a record, you know? And same thing. I was only able to sing it like twice. And I lost it both times I was singing the song because it was so real to me. And then I put the song away. I brought it to my friend Brian and I was like, all right, dude, you got to mix this and I got to leave because I can't even handle it. Like I can't.
That's too much. I mean,
can't handle it.
Like to me, that's really exciting on so many levels. But really, it's just something that I feel pretty strongly about is if we're making art, if that's what we're talking about, I mean, just think about what a shame it could possibly be that you, in a lot of contexts, and even surprising to me that you were able to overcome and share something that vulnerable that, of course, is going to make you look bad for using the F word, and it's going to cause some problems. And honestly, it's going to cost you some dollars. It will.
It already has. I mean, like, yeah.
But think about it this way: if you consume art, what artist? How upset would you be if you knew that a Kurt Cobain or the director of your favorite show or movie decided to sit on something because it was too intense and emotional for him that they created? You don't want the people that create for you to be careful. You want them to be honest. And I respect it, and I feel so strongly about that.
I think that the thing that was the question for me was, right, like I from my perspective, our last record was a huge pivot where if you actually listen to the record, you got the fact, and if you listen to interviews, you got the fact that, okay, Chad was working at a church for a long time. They were leading every Sunday. Now they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Half the songs are that way and half the songs aren't.
Right.
Now I'm not. This is not. So I understand, like, there's a complete responsibility of, like, this isn't Come Thou Fount anymore. What in the world is Chad doing? I'm writing gospel songs, like, from my, I mean, a prayer, you cannot.
There couldn't be a more Christian song than your prayer transcribed.
There could not be.
There isn't a more Christian song.
And I think
it's called a prayer.
For me, yeah. And I mean, lastly, just like the thing for me is, I realize the thing that's unfortunate is I have no, I hate like the shock jock thing. Not trying to do that with this. I legitimately am thinking about people who have gone through similar stuff to what I've gone through, or they're in it right now. And for them to know, like, God hears that where you are, and he responds to it as you are. You don't have to change because of a specific theological conviction, which I actually personally don't share. Like, if I believe that using that word was, a sin, I wouldn't have put it in the record. I believe language is like, I'm very much communicating what fear sounds like, which is aggressive and impatient and demanding,
violent.
Yeah. And I've never heard the voice of fear in my life be poetic and thoughtful.
That's
And
a great point, man.
I mean, I think that
that's a great
and I don't even give myself credit. I don't think that it's like, oh, Chad, I did a really good job of like thinking about the voice of fear. I just wrote down what it was saying to me.
This is pure as it gets.
This is Christian. That's what it sounds like.
Pure as it gets. It's art and it's real. And to me, that's just something. I mean, you're somebody I look up to and respect. And come what may, the reaction to it. I actually believe that everybody's going to really thank you in the long run. I really think that it's a pivot time for everybody. People are going to get it. They can't deny your authenticity, the reality of it, the artistic quality of it. And I think people are finally going to just go, okay, so we are kind of moving here. Culture's moving a little bit, and that's a good thing.
The other thing is though, but I don't even feel like I'm really not even trying to convince anybody of like, if they have a different conviction on like language, I'd respect them. I'm not trying to change their mind even like at all. That's why I have another version.
That's right.
Because I respect like youth groups and kids and like, like if my wife wants to just put the CD in the car for my like 1-year-old, he turns 1 next month, and she doesn't want to hear that song, that's fine. For me personally though, like I'm going to have to make a version of the record without that song on it.
Just for you, yeah.
Just because it's so heavy already. I mean, the record has these like really lighthearted moments, more so than we've ever had. Like there's a song called Most of It, which is basically written for like Ziggy, as a 1-year-old. Like what's a simple truth you can tell a kid? All the way to like the last 3 tracks are just, they're super like kind of gut bomb emotional songs. And that's, the record just does that. It's kind of cool, but
it's more than cool. It's great. So we're not going to do that filthy cussing song right now, but will you play us a song?
I will. And I'll tell you a little bit about this one. This song is called Lost with a question mark. So after I finished a prayer, I started sending it out to people for feedback. And the decision to keep the original version and the edited version took a long time. I talked to my pastors about it, friends of mine. I prayed about it a lot. Like it just took tons of conversations. It really drained me. But of course, to the people were my parents, my mom, my dad, who really have always supported me and been incredible. And they felt so heavy for me as their son hearing that song. But they still totally got it and understood it, which meant a lot to me. But on the backside of hearing that song, my mom was basically like, okay, Chad, if you're going to put this song on the record, you have to show the other side of what it's like on the other side of hearing God's voice. So luckily I had the perfect song completely outlined, as usually I do. I had the music, the melody, all that stuff. And we just had to write lyrics. And I was waiting to write lyrics anyway. So then I could basically go, all right, we haven't even talked about the theme of the record yet, but, the theme of the record is beyond control is enchantment. And it's contrasting 2 worlds. One where it's, our modern existence overstimulated with information and trying to maximize our lives and comparing it to everybody else on social media, and just the exhausting chase that is. And we end up isolating ourselves from God and wanting to just cordon everything off. It's basically that world versus accepting the fact that the world is actually wild and out of our control and terrifying, but that, God leads us through it and it's actually beautiful and it's an adventure. And Tolkien says that a world like this is basically where both joy and sorrow are as sharp as swords. And I think that's sort of what I was trying to accomplish on this record. What does sorrow feel like that is deep, and what is joy that is deep? So this
life
song
is intense.
Yeah, and
that's just all there is to it.
That's okay.
And so a lot of things we're thinking about and reaching for and doing are anything we can to dull either side of that.
Yeah, and basically trying to buffer ourselves from the spiritual and the reality that we're not in control, that we will suffer, is actually buffering ourselves from the only thing that will help us.
Joy as well.
From joy, yeah, from our relationship with God. So this song is basically the flip side of that. It's called Lost.
Cool.
The walking into that world and just being in that world.
Cool. You having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Good.
This is, I hope I can remember all the lyrics here.
Yeah.
I just recorded it, but it should be good. I'm lost in this place, at peace on my way. Your smile as I roam sings joy to my soul. Oh, my running, your redemption retraced. At your cross held my exhausted embrace. Now I wander in your glorious maze, lost in grace, lost in grace. Thinking of the lyric, I don't want to
Very good.
escape. Oh man, you got to be kidding me.
Can I look it up for you?
Yes, we're gonna do an
Okay.
ad. Sorry, everybody. Ready?
All right.
These are our new CDs,
Okay, so I feel like Jay Leno right now. We'll get back into it.
and I
but
hand
here
wrote
is
all the lyrics inside of them. Here we go. I don't want to escape.
I should have been
I'm
teleprompting
killing
you.
this vibe.
That's all right. We'll jump back.
It's
in.
towards the end. It's towards the end. Oh no, it's not towards the end. It's right in the middle. Lost. Did you find it?
Yeah, we got it.
You got it.
I don't want to escape enchantedly
Enchanted
amazed.
I got it.
Whenever I go, no
Yep.
need for control.
I don't want to escape. Enchanted amaze. Wherever I go, no need for control. In all my running, your redemption traced. At your cross held my exhausted embrace. Now I wander in your glorious maze. I'm lost in grace, lost in grace. I'm in over my head, wrapped in light. Tapestries of wonder fill my eyes. Running under rainbows, the light of your face, a vibrant array. My world is aglow with color and hope. In all my running, your redemption retraced. At your cross held my exhausted embrace. Now I wander in your glorious maze. I'm lost in grace, lost in grace, lost in grace, lost in grace.
Excellent. Good. That's great. That was a really cool thing to do there, Chad. So I think our time's getting a little bit low. I'll
Yeah.
kind of wrap us. I want to say a couple more things I want to say. feel free if you want to. But I notice, and I know that a lot of these songs were written by Zach Bolen as well.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that for a second. Zach Bolen put out a solo album. He's in this small community here. He lives, again, I live 30 blocks from here. Zach lives between me and Chad in the neighborhood here. And this whole thing has been so fun to do independent stuff, connected with other people. Zach's amazing. His stuff is great. And also, right here in this room, in a few weeks from now, we're going to work on Devin Shelton's record.
Totally.
It'll be me, you, Devin, and some of these other musicians, and we're going to make a great record that way as well. So, again, the thing that just makes me so happy is people doing independent stuff that they want, people supporting it, and this is the best. This is one of the proudest things I've ever been even related to it all. And this is King's Kaleidoscope, Beyond Control, and it's available now for pre-order. It'll be out on next Friday.
This Friday.
It'll be out
2 days.
in 2 days from now.
It's crazy.
So you can get the vinyl. We've doubled the order. There's still some left. You can buy it on iTunes or whatever. But really, this is about you've missed the boat if you haven't even already pre-ordered it. To tell you the truth, but really, this is about thank you to everybody that's made Chad be able to have this career and do the things we do from the Bad Christian podcast to this. It's great. Having the time of my life making media, creating stuff, and communicating with people.
It's a blast.
So thank you for being part of
Thanks
part of
for
my life and all this stuff.
setting all this up and letting us talk to our people.
You got it.
Great.
All right. Thanks, everybody.